Alright, ladies, gentlemen, gamers, welcome back. Welcome back to another set of patch notes. I can't believe it's been 2 weeks, man. Honestly, when you're older, time flies. When I was a kid, time went so slowly. But now as an adult, it goes too quickly. Pretty soon, I might be dead. But it's not going fast enough to fucking get rid of work, and I fucking hate it. But anyway, we're here with patch 12.15. Hopefully it's going to be a short one because I have very little time with work and all the other shit I have to do today. But let's get right into it. Also, I have the new capybara VTuber here. Look at it. Look at it in all its glory. It's me, talking in the corner. It's amazing and I love it. Thank you, Makeda, for making it. But anyway, if you want to be the very best, catch all your patch changes and monster tamers here. Oh, I got something to say about these. In this week's installment of Patch Notes, we're giving energy-based champions a little boost, doing some follow-up fine-tuning to master Yai and Sivir, and buffing up some engaged supports. Thank goodness, because supports are fucking mistreated. And I don't know if they're mistreated or if just mages are better, but God, I do not see engaged supports a lot anymore in the bot lane. And I don't know why that is, but maybe just the role in general isn't popular. People don't naturally sway towards engaged supports, which I think they would, because those are where the flashy plays happen. But now they're opting for mages, which, you know what I always say, the perversions of the fucking bot lane. But anyway, where were we at? We're also tapping down Divine Sunder and First Strike's power, so they aren't always super effective. Now come with me, the time is right. It's patch 12.15. I like the Pokemon puns. And TFT, I don't give a shit. Okay, so the 3 new skins are Veigar, Kog'Maw, and Lulu. We'll talk about those later. Let's see the champion changes. Akali. So Akali's an energy champion in general. I don't think they're going to change her too much in terms of buffs and nerfs. Maybe they're only going to change her with energy, because I actually don't think she is that good. So if anything, we'll see a buff, but I think they're only going to do the energy changes here. But let's see. Let's see what they say. As a system, energy is intended to give champions spikes of power that fall off with extended combat times. So energy champions are supposed to have burst, I guess? Given the current state of the game and more extended fights, champions that use energy have gotten fucked. This section is repeated for energy users in this patch. In Akali's case, we're slightly increasing the amount of energy she gains from her shroud to help her squeeze in an additional ability or 2 per fight. So the energy restoration from the shroud is going up. So it's like they say, an additional ability or 2. Cool. Slightly better. Gwendolyn. I think Gwen is fucking OP still. I think the changes they did are really just buffs for fucking regular play and nerfs for pro play. But even then, I still feel like overall they were just shifts in power to have her be more like late game oriented. Even though they did nerf her Q. The Q was the biggest nerf, I feel. Overall, Gwen is still a fucking animal. If you scale on Gwen, you will obliterate people. It is disgusting. So I honestly don't know how she landed. If anything, I would say she landed too strong. I don't know if it's in pro or regular, because I've barely played her, but the little bit I did play her, I think she's fucking strong, man. I think Gwen is insane. So I won't be surprised if we see a nerf, because I really did feel like the other changes they did really just helped her, they really just helped her on like a baseline level with just common play. And if you help her for common play, she's overall going to be better. I feel like that's the only thing they did. So let's see what they're doing. Gwen's changes in 12.13 achieved our goals of making it easier for players to lane with her and execute her combos, but they were a bit too effective at the highest levels of play. We intended to keep her identity as a powerful scaler, but we're trimming just a bit of damage from her late game, which I think is fair. First of all, the fact that she has true damage at all is ridiculous. Second of all, it's max health true damage, which is like, the only other person who I think does that off the top of my head is Vayne. Everyone else that does like max health is either physical or magical, not true. Granted, Gwen was like, you know, not fully true damage now because they changed it to 75, but I still think it was a little ridiculous. Putting it to 50 is more than fair. This is fine, Gwen is still good. Kalista. Kalista is ass. She needs a fucking buff, bruh. I don't know what it is, but I feel like Kalista is so bad. The only way she's good, honestly, is with like a dedicated team around you. And even then, I have seen some Kalistas go crazy late game, but it's rare because I just don't see Kalista in general. I think Kalista just isn't that bad. It's just with all the nerfs, she's kind of in an okay spot, but with a good team around her, she looks really good, but it's so rare to have that nowadays. It's really so rare. Honestly, I think she needs a buff, bruh. There's no way. There's no way they don't buff her. Kalista has been dominating the bot lane in professional play. Well, that'll do it. Recently has a powerful early game pick, which is true. We're bringing down her damage a tad in order to make her a little less oppressive, and they're nerfing her. They're nerfing her by 3 AD. Honestly, that's a little ass because Kalista is one of the few people, aside from Bel'Veth, that naturally will not do 100% of their damage. Bel'Veth does what, 75%, I think? Kalista does 90%. So this is a bigger nerf than it might seem, but I guess pro play they were going too crazy with her in the early game, but this is fine because she still scales the same way. This buff really only does affect, I think, her in pro play, so this is fine. Kennen, he's probably getting energy changed, but aside from that, do I think they will change him at all? I think Kennen and Rumble in the old school were like the big team fighters, and we don't see them that much anymore. Although I do think we've been seeing Kennen in pro play. I don't know because I don't watch enough pro play, but I feel like I have seen, from what I've seen, he is still there, so maybe they might nerf him. Who knows? But they might buff nerf him here. Let's see. Our electric Yordle doesn't have the same energy issues as other champions being adjusted, but he's been struggling for entirely different reasons. Shocker. With more durable targets, Kennen has found it difficult to establish himself as either a lane bully or a teamfight winner. I think the main reason he's a teamfight winner was dually so back in the day. Back in the day, he did ridiculous amounts of damage, and he stunned everyone. So not only did he have like great CC, he had great damage. The damage kind of fell off, but the CC is still there if you get a good one. I still think Kennen can change the course of the teamfight. He just can't solo win it, which I don't think is a bad thing. So I don't know if buffing him here is a good idea, but let's see. If anything, I'd want to see them put more power into his laning. We're putting some more power into his team fighting identity. Okay, I'm just getting shit on all day today. By increasing his ability to win fights with a slight boost to his W and R. The W doesn't matter, the R definitely does. So the W cooldown's going down early by 1, that's pretty okay. The magic damage is going up by 10, no one cares. The ult damage is getting a slight AP scaling, which is fine. Okay, so Kennen's slightly better, no one cares. Okay, Lee Sin. What the fuck do I think about Lee Sin? After playing Lee Sin and getting clips for the Lee Sin video, this guy fucking blows hot fucking dick wiener. I hate Lee Sin. It has been solidified in my mind that Lee Sin is not only useless, he really should get fucking removed from this fucking game. He's fun if you get fed, but you have to be so good to play him. It's actually insane. Fuck Lee Sin, fuck this character, fuck Riot Games, and fuck my life. But anyway, they have to buff him. There's no way they nerf this piece of shit. As a system, energy is intended to give champion specs power. Okay, we already said that. In Lee Sin's case, we're slightly decreasing the energy he needs so he can cast his spells more often. I'm actually going to agree with this one hardcore because there was a lot of times where, like, as Lee Sin I would go in, I wouldn't weave in the 2 autos to get the energy back, and I would actually run out of energy to use my abilities, and I was like, oh shit. Excuse me. You actually have to weave in autos, so it's kind of crazy. But, yeah, they're just decreasing it. Okay, cool. It's slightly less. Wow. Leona, they said engaged supports are getting buffed, so hopefully Leona gets buffed. I think she needs it, too. I think Leona, the main thing they don't need to touch is the Q. The Q is perfectly fine. I think maybe the ult, I think, is fine, too. I think they need to touch the W or the E. If I had my way, I would say the E. I think Leona, because she's so, like, dependent on being on top of you, she should just stick on top of you like fucking glue. Like, make the E cooldown lower and just have it be like you have to waste an ability or a sum to get away from Leona, and if you don't, she will fucking stick on you like shit. But anyway, let's see. Engaged supports are currently a bit weaker than where we'd like them, post their ability update, which is weird. Now the enemies are more likely to survive her engages, we're giving her a little bit more power. Actually, I could see that. I didn't think of that. Leona in the early game, at least, was very powerful. Like, she could actually solo some characters, and by characters I mean ADCs. Like, I would be scared of Leona's damage more than I would the ADCs in the early game. But I guess their ability changed that, so they're going to up her damage, which I think is good. Leona should be a little scary early. Engaged supports can do damage, too. Look at Pyke. So mana cost is going down. That's literally not damage. Solar Flare, Stun, and Slow Duration. That's going up slightly. Honestly, that's good. Leona's getting slightly buffed, but I mean, almost nothing. The ulti is the biggest change. This is almost nothing. This is stupid. Basically the same. Lilia! I think Lilia is weird. I think she's still a really good top laner. I think she's better top than she is jungle. I think top lane she's good, but she does have counter picks. I don't think Lilia top is oppressively broken. It could get fucked very easily. And she kind of, weirdly enough, falls off in the mid game, but you have to play her a certain way. You have to build her like bruiser, healthy, overtime dot damage, not like initial burst. And it's very weird to play a character like that, because there's not many characters like that. But that's off topic. In general, I think Lilia's a better top laner than jungler, but even then, she's not that crazy. She's very good against certain matchups. It's near unplayable. You love the capybara? I love the capybara too. It's so fucking good. I love it. But anyway, I think Lilia is okay. If anything, I could see them nerfing her, but that's about it. Lilia has been a weak spot in the jungle. That is true. By giving her some jungle-oriented buffs that should help her with her clear speed without her becoming a nightmare in the top lane, which she borderline already is for some players. Like, bro, if you go Scion, or something that can't beat the ever-living dog shit out of her, like, Olaf and Irelia, to me, are, like, the two biggest things that I fear is Lilia top. Aside from that, maybe Nasus, too, but I could bully him early. Aside from that, everything else kind of doesn't do too good against Lilia. They kind of just get shit on. Especially like Scion and stuff. Like, you need to be very good at Lilia, but if you're good at Lilia, with all the mobility you get, you could just run people, bro. It's crazy. But anyway, what are they doing? They're buffing her jungle, which has traditionally been ass, and they're buffing it by 10. Okay, 10 damage, E minor. Oh wait, actually, wait, no. Late game, they're buffing it by 50. Hey, E minor! It's still pretty whatever. Her jungle's better. I still think she's a better top laner, though. Her ganks are hard. She has really bad ganks. Okay, Master Yi. Master Yi is, from what I've heard, pretty broken with all the buffs and everything. So, because of that, they're probably nerfing him because I would agree the W, I feel like they went too far. I can honestly see them nerfing the W a little bit, just cooldown-wise. I don't understand why it's 9 seconds. I can understand why they don't want it to be 29 seconds, because that's a little ridiculous. I don't understand why they put it to 9. I think it could be like 15, but I don't know. I don't really know. But Master Yi is definitely on the stronger side. Master Yi has been doing pretty well in the last set of changes, achieving a relatively equal win rate across various skill levels. That's good, they normalized it. That was actually a very hard thing to do. He's still a bit stronger than we'd like him to be, so we're taking down his access to his E and true damage. He's been maxing E first? What the hell? And then the cooldown of the E is going from scaling to just flat 18. That's a big nerf. Ugh. You're losing 4 seconds late game. Oh my god. I mean, granted, I think E should have times where he is weak. And there's too many times where, like, you'll fight E and he will always have E up. Honestly, this is fine. Because when you fight E, you know, he's pretty much going to just fuck you either way. And if he's fucking you, he's fucking you. I think this is actually fine. I think this is fair. Qiyana, this fucking character, bro. I feel like you have to be so skilled to use her. I still think she's bad. She's probably going to get buffed. There's no way. Qiyana's been the Empress of the Rift lately, partly due to a bug which allowed her to proc her passive twice. Okay, so it's literally a bug fix. Remove the bug in her nerfing first strike. We're also taking a little bit of power out of her passive so that she's a bit less oppressive. So honestly, I think this is probably an overreaction. I don't think Qiyana... This is the case, and I've said this before. I think if a character requires skill, you should be very hesitant about nerfing them if you're taking other things away already, because people should be rewarded for their skill. Obviously, it can't be too easy to do, but I don't think Qiyana's too easy to fucking do. I think she absolutely deserves doing the damage she does if she can know how to do her kit. God knows I don't. But how bad are they nerfing this? Oh my god. They're nerfing it by a lot. What the hell? This isn't like a bit of power. What? This is a lot. Instead of 45%, it's going to 30. That's like 1/3. They're nerfing it by 1/3. That is huge. What the fuck? Stupid. Qiyana's fucking ass. Granted, I don't even know how much passive, or how much damage her passive really even does, but... Rami! What do I think of Rami? I think Rami is pretty okay. He's very niche. You just build him into armor. I think overall he's not that good, except if you build him into armor. His little rework, the hoopla, helped him, which realistically we all kind of know he got for the phone game. But overall, I think, I don't know, Rammus is fine. I mean, I don't think he's oppressive. And the fact that I think that means if they're changing anything, they're buffing him. So let's see what they're doing. With 12.14 changes to tank items, Remus hasn't been rolling around with enthusiasm. They're turning some power to his kit. What are they doing? They're doing everything to his R. So the R cooldown is 90 at all ranks. That's pretty good. The base cast range is up. That's really good. The dash range growth is bigger. That's okay. So it's, that's what Warwick gets to. That's fine. Minimum dash speed is pretty good. Maximum dash speed is up. Okay, so his ult just feels better. That's literally it. And it's slightly farther. Okay, cool. Remus is the same. Shen. I'm not going to read all this bullshit. Let's just skip to the end. Shen is doing relatively okay in terms of energy efficiency. So we're just giving a buff to help him in the late game. I think Shen is just overall fine. I don't think he needs a buff or a nerf, honestly. But if anything, if I think champions are fine and they're changing them, I'm either wrong and they're getting, nerfed, or if they actually are fine, they have to get buffed. If they're fine, they don't want them to be fine, they want them to be buffed. I think if a champion is fine for too long, they need to get buffed to have their time in the limelight. I just honestly think that. I think League eventually is going to get to a point where over time, we're going to go through, different seasons or different patches where, certain champions are just gonna be played more because Riot has neglected them for too long. And I honestly think they should make metas around certain characters. They should have an ADC-oriented meta, which we had with Ardent for 2 seconds, and then they smacked us. We should have a tank meta, we should have an assassins meta that lasts also 2 seconds, because fuck them. But I think that's what League needs to get to. We need to have seasons where, other characters aren't necessarily bad, but certain characters have the limelight. Shen is definitely not one of those, right now at least, but what are they doing? Energy refunded upon dealing damage with passive or E. Okay, so it's slightly more cool. Singed. What do I think of this dumb fuck? I think Singed is so fucking hard. He's probably one of the hardest characters in the game. And you need to be a god to really, play him. So, with that in mind, they have to buff him. There's no way they're nerfing Singed of all people. There's no way. Unless he's an issue in pro play, which I doubt he is. There's no way they're nerfing him. Now the days of Predator Singed mid are behind us. Jesus Christ, that was scary. We're reverting some changes we made to decrease his durability. Okay. He'll now be able to zip around and flip his enemies into his chem-infused Heart's Content. So, his bonus move stream passive is going up, and the cooldown's going down. These are actually decent. They don't seem that big, but they're pretty good. Singed's passive is pretty fucking good. And then Insanity Potion is getting a base buff early. That is also pretty good. Overall, a little bit better. Singe is nice. Sivir. Alright, let me talk about this for a second. I've played Sivir. I do not think she is OP. I think she's okay. I think she's whatevs. I think she's aight. I don't think she's OP by any stretch of the imagination. And I don't know how in God's name she's so good. I honestly just don't. I'm very curious to see what Riot says here. Continuing work on Sivir's mid-scope update, she successfully found her spot as a hyper-scaling, which I think is a lie, AoE marksman on the roster. With this set of changes, we're looking to take away a little bit of her late-game power and create more windows of opportunity for her opponents to challenge her. So that means they're just nerfing her late game. So attack damage growth is lower, she's getting overall less AD, the cooldown of the spell shield is going up, which is really ass late game. Wow, it's going up by 4, holy shit. And then the cooldown of the ulti, which I don't think is the issue at all, is going up also. Bruh, I feel like, I don't know, man. I don't feel like Sivir's that crazy. I don't get it. Maybe at high professional play where, people actually play for the AD, maybe. But in low levels of play, she is fucking ass wiener hole. I think maybe you just need to have good mechanics. You need to know how to trade on her, honestly. But I think she's ass. I don't know. I don't think they should nerf her this bad. Even though they're not that bad, but the ulti is just kind of like a spit in the face. Why the fuck? I mean, it's 10 seconds. It's not too bad. If they nerf her more than this, there's something wrong. Talia, I'm pretty sure they're gonna buff her because she has the skin and they want to sell the skin. By the way, the whole fucking, the whole Star Guardian event has been going to shit, but that's a topic for another day. So, what do I think of Talia? Talia is, honestly, from what I've seen, it's weird, right? I've seen her get fed, but I don't feel like she's oppressive. But I really feel like they're going to buff her just because of the event. Let's see. Talia's Unraveled Earth is a great tool for stalling teamfights and creating a danger zone. Yeah, because she's a zoning mage. However, it's currently creating a bit too much time for herself and allies. or taking down her ability to cast it quite as frequently, but she still should be able to use it twice or more. So the cooldown is going up by 2 seconds. That's whatever, that's ass. And then the wall duration is going from 5 to 4. Honestly, that's fine. Talia's a little worse. Who cares? It's Talia. No one plays her. Alright, Thresh. What do I think of Thresh? He's an engaged support. He has to get buffed because supports are ass. Unless you are a enchanter or a mage, you are a ass support. Or you're not a support. So let's see what they're doing. Like other engaged supports, Thresh has been struggling to capitalize on his ability to start fights, which really takes the death out of the death sentence. We're lowering the cooldown and increasing the damage. Thank God. Bruh, make engaged supports do more damage. That's all you gotta do. Mages are doing what they do better. They don't... Who needs to start the fight when the enemy's already half dead? You could just kill him whenever you want. You could dive him with the jungler. Like, who gives a shit? Okay, so the cooldown's going down by 1. Honestly, I understand why it's going down by 1. They're very scared to reduce this at all because it is a playmaking ability. And it does get cooldown reduction if you land it. And then the magic damage is going up by, oh, you guessed it, Riot's favorite number, 10 early. At least later on it's 20. Honestly, I don't think this matters too much. I mean, again, it's the... With Riot, it's like the death by 1,000 cuts thing. No reference to Gwen. But they're going to keep buffing it over time if they do. And then it's just going to become ridiculous eventually, and then they're going to nerf it. And it's not going to seem like a lot, but they're going to keep nerfing it piecemeal. Piece by piece. So that's basically what they do now. This is whatever, though. It helps, but it's whatever. Zed's going to get probably a buff because Zed's ass and assassins are ass. So let's see what they're doing. We're lowering the energy cost on his E and giving his shadow a little bit more freedom. Shadow spell mimic range. Oh. Wait, what? Huh. I don't know if this means you could teleport it from any distance or you could just use abilities from any distance. It says mimic, so I guess this is abilities. I never knew it had a range for abilities, though. That's kind of crazy. That's kind of stupid, actually. Ugh. I mean, it helps, but I don't think it's... This is a very niche change that doesn't really do anything, honestly. But it's whatever. And then the energy cost is going down. Okay, cool. That's slightly better. Alright, Divine Sunderer. I think this item is kind of ridiculous. The fact that it heals you and scales off their health, plus with durability, it's probably a little strong. So, they're probably nerfing it, and they said they're nerfing it, so they're nerfing it. How bad is it? 65% heal to 55% heal. Cool, it's slightly worse. It's still good. Mercurial Scimitar. Mercurial Scimitar, this item is like almost never built unless you're countering Mordekaiser. Or they have like a Sedge or an Amumu or something. Like unless they have a heavy AD, or sorry, a heavy APCC team, why the fuck would you build this? There's no fucking reason to. Its stats aren't good enough, and the active is alright, but you can just have the bitch support, if they're actually going a bitch support, build Mikhail's, which they should anyway. But let's see what they're doing. It hasn't been appealing recently given its role as an important itemization option that provides magic resist, critical strike chance, and built-in CC removal. We're increasing the benefits that come with this item to make it a little bit more tempting by increasing the MR, by increasing its niche. And then the Quicksilver active duration is going from 1 to 1.5. Okay, that's actually huge. So, I don't know if the active duration is the move speed or the time you can't be CC'd. I'm pretty sure it's move speed. They should honestly change it, though, if it's not move speed. Like, for 1.5 seconds, you cannot be CC'd. Honestly, that would make this item so usable. In fact, it might make it OP, so maybe they shouldn't do it. But, overall, I mean, it's better, but it's still more niche. Silvermere Dawn, probably the same shit. Yep, the exact same shit. It's not as good, so they're buffing it. Cool. First Strike. I don't think First Strike is OP. Call me wild and silly and stupid, but this is a rune, right, that at most gives you a good amount of gold, which is good, and it gives you 10% more damage. 10% is aight. But the problem I have with it is its cooldown is insanely long early, number one. And number two, if the enemy even breathes on you, you can't proc it. So a lot of times, you have to play a certain way to really get good use out of it. Nah. Gainita. You have to play a certain way to really get good use out of it. So, only, I think, skilled players, only highly skilled players can really use this effectively, so they're probably nerfing it for them, honestly. First Strike has risen to prominence as the go-to choice for burst champions in the current meta. Yeah, because it gives a lot of gold. We're reining in a bit of its burst potential, which should also decrease the amount of gold as this rune can generate. So they're nerfing it by 10%. Whoopee. I think it's still going to be used. I think if they nerf it by another 1%, maybe. But it's still going to be used. Ultimate Spellbook. The Star Garden event may be ending, but Ultimate Spellbook is sticking around for a little while longer. No one cares. No one cares, no one cares. They have been updated to match the original champion's functionality. No one cares. Add Star Garden themed particles for the following alternate spells. Jin's R, Ori's R, Qiyana R, MFR, and Soraka R. Why does Jin have one? What the hell? And then bug fixes, no one cares. RP price increase. Starting August 19th, all the RP is going up. Good thing I bought a Bulkin before that happened. Competitive system. Okay, let's see this. I'm actually curious what this says. Having a pre-made duo is a slight advantage, and while current Apex tiers, Masters, Grandmasters, and Challenger, they aren't able to duo with anyone, the system only works off current rank. With this change, we're tightening up the Apex tier restriction to apply to MMR as well. The goal of this is to prevent climbing smurfs from being able to duo queue into Apex tier. That's a Decade Apex tiers, and the highest skilled Diamond 1 players may also be impacted by this change. Oh, wow. Up until now, these players could duo and reliably get into Apex tier games, which isn't fair when people they're playing against can't duo. That's true. If the change works as expected, we'll evaluate shipping it to the rest of the world. So are they only doing it with NA? We first rolled out this change back in 12.10 to NA in Korea, and the results have been positive. Okay, so they're rolling it out to everyone else. Cool. This changes nothing for most of us, though. Cool. Bug fixes, no one cares. Okay, now let's go over the skins. So, the skins, I think, honestly, are whatever. I honestly think they're kind of ass. I don't know why the fuck they have this. They added this. I mean, it's always cool. I like getting skins that are of a new theme. I just don't want it to be like a mainstay theme that's like milked, right? Because every year, you know we're going to get arcade. You know we're going to get some sort of like pool party. You know we're going to get project. Like, they were cool when they were coming out, and they still are pretty nice, right? They're not bad. But I don't know, like, I like themes that aren't touched upon like crazy, like Astro. I think Astro is one of the best skin lines in the game. From what it was to where it is now, it's so fucking good. Monster Tamer, I think, is a little weird. I don't know. I really don't like the effects, especially on Zapmaw. Zapmaw's whatever. Monster Tamer Lulu literally looks like Lulu going out in, like, the rain. Okay, cool. And I think the coolest skin of them all is Veigar, but I just don't like the way it looks. It's like, It's a good skin, though. I think the Veigar one's the best one, but it's like, It's weird. But overall, these skins, I feel like they're kind of ass, they're kind of whatever, but I want them to keep making new skin lines that aren't just overblown, have their own events, keep getting updated yearly. Like, I don't mind skins that get updated again in like 2 or 3 years when it fits the theme of someone. I don't mind that. But overall, that's the patch. It was decently quick, I guess. I feel like a lot of stuff here was just whatever. I don't know. I mean, these patches are fucking whatever. I don't even like to rate these anymore because I feel like the ratings are always the same. I mean, just my general, like, excitement for this patch is like, like, it's whatever. But, I mean, that's what the patches are going to be, because Riot said, these patches are, like, going to be nonsense until Worlds. They're trying to calm down until Worlds, so. Overall, I'll give this, like, I don't know, fucking 5 out of 10. Excuse me. 5 out of 10 is just the baseline. It's just, yeah, it's a patch. It's whatever. 5 out of 10 Mark Merrills out of 10. I said that wrong. 5 out of 10 Mark Merrills. Not out of 10 again. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm going to be out of here. I have a busy day. This actually was under 30 minutes. I'm very surprised. But I'll be back promptly if you're on the live stream. If you're on YouTube and you made it this far, you're fucking crazy. And I love you. Give you some kisses. Hope you enjoyed.